When we did the VOD review on Icebox,
It was so refreshing. It was so refreshing. But I don't think we're gonna see any Icebox split best of ones, just because those are like best of ones in general are a little bit gambly. Upsets can always happen, but when it comes to Icebox and split, those can always be a little bit different. But looking at the buys early on, obviously it's the pistol round. Alexis has opted to go for a single alarm bot, which is a little bit peculiar. I think she's also elected to go for the early on. Big pressure from Cloud9 White. They go for the early flash. Katie dashing on in, and a lot of pressure towards the B main side. That's a quick round at Cloud9 White. That's an execution that we see from a lot of higher tier teams, and they've just done it completely flawlessly.
I mean, see White full onslaught. You can't exactly stop it, but it's really just that preset that you would need more or less a hard split for that to really end up breaking apart. But C9 putting all their eggs into one basket, getting that early info, and actually committing to it, more than effective.
Well, at least in this one, with Balance not necessarily having the best of buys, Bossy going for the single Sheriff. Nothing fancy from Cloud9 White just yet. Katie, however, putting a lot of early pressure. Damage done to Simple as well. Great way to draw away a little bit of fire by Mel in the back. Perfectly done. I mean, a quick 2 easy piece over on the A main side for Cloud9 White. Now, Annie does have a very big position. Nice clean shot. Simple already tagged down low. How does she adjust, though? Thankfully, Cat's not too far for that instant swing. And right now, Cloud9 White, they only lose one player in the process. Annie had the ghost, so nothing too big there. But Balance, here's where the buy comes in, and Cloud9 White, this is their bonus. So they're looking to hold on to as many guns as possible moving forward.
It's really just that early momentum. I mean, just well done by C9 in general. Balance, they were almost destined to go for a couple of wide swings. And a lot of these C9 White players, they just had really good control or just really good targeting onto the choke points, onto the last round. They didn't exactly want to give up full B main control or A main control in general. They wanted to fight those early and really just get the round done with.
Oh.
Now, early on this round, you have a bird already over towards mid, but an early approach into B main from 2 C9 White players. Cat on the front lines, Katie coming in from mid. Oh, this is ballsy, Sully, but it just might work out for him if they don't get revealed. Katie gonna get revealed by the recon bolt and has to leave and try to help out Denya. What on earth? Of course, Katie was spotted, but somehow able to get the kill to the back of Katie's head. C9 White in one fell swoop as they start to get aggressive. Well, they just get chipped down, Sully. Balanced. They have full control of not only the A site, but the round in general.
Right, yeah, I mean, Cloud9 White, they tried to go for the same strat that they did in the pistol. It clearly didn't work out. Balance, they kind of recognize how much pressure Cloud9 White are going to be throwing in these early round situations. I mean, the push towards A main at the second, and even a push here as well into B main. I mean, Balance, a really great read from to sit back and wait for that pressure. As soon as those birds coming down towards middle, they recognize instantly, this is going to be a B play. They're going to try and pull out of pressure. Players readjust quickly to isolate the players B main. They find Katie running straight down to B links, and like you said, great shot coming out from the opposing bet jet. Balance Esports first round on the board, but again, just a bonus for Cloud9 White. Now they've got the real guns, and this could be where again we see a little bit of a play style shift. Now they don't have to play explosive because of those SMGs. They can play a little bit more relaxed now.
Oh, they sure can, but this is Katie's real mindset. This is Katie's domain. Making her way up, Cat already just wants to really maintain that spot over towards the A area. Just a quick crossfire. There's really two options for crosshairs. Or crossfire, sorry. As Mel can actually rotate in between both A main cross and Cat cross. Now looking at the setup for Balance thus far, really just biding their time, waiting to see if they can actually get a couple of picks. This is more or less a true default with 2 actually making their way over towards mid, but there's no attention over here, Sully. This is a whole lot of control that could be evaded by C9 White, but it might be too little too late. A whole lot of util actually set up by the KJ over towards that B site, though. That could be huge from a market drop.
Yeah, I mean, no alarm bot as well from Cloud9 White. I think that's already in general a really big gamble. Then again, they do have the turret. If they need to bank on that, Valen loses his fight. And there go the smokes, or at least the main smokes for the side of Balance Esports. This execution is going to get a whole lot harder. No paranoia as well to back them up. They've got to rely on these Reyna flashes. And I don't know if Bossy's got enough in his equipment belt to utilize them, but straight through the smoke, Katie able to find Bossy. Down go the flashes. Denya's come back with a huge double, and Denya keeps on pushing. 3 frags just like that, and Balance Esports are right back into this round now.
And Denya, what a string of rounds. Last round, it was just one singular kill to really get a taste of what Denya's like. Now it's finally a little bit of an explosion, a little bit of a showcase, but now in comes Alexis. Over from heaven, you still have Denya. Looking over the heaven position. See if Alexis walks into her crosshair. And indeed she does. Annie Dro, last person remaining now in a 1v5. And Denya goes for the wide swing. Ace for Denya. Balance have control of the game.
This is huge. What a start for Denya as well. That also allows him to get an early operator if he wants to, right? He's got a Blade Storm to bank as well. They don't have to spend that extra 2,900 if Denya just wants to drop over a rifle. And he actually ends up buying his teammate instead. So Cloud9 White, that is not the best of rounds to look back on. I mean, Balance Esports, a fast execution. 2 early picks for Cloud9 White. It looked like it was going to go beautifully for them. But Denya comes out of nowhere and pops off a quick ace. And now Cloud9 White, it's no longer a bonus. It's a full-on eco round here.
A full-on eco, really not much to worry about. C9 Whites could at least put something a little bit more all out in this round, I would like to think. Something over towards A main, but, you know, they do have decent spots early on. They have that full B main control that they've wanted to maintain for a while. Yeah. Alexis and Annie in a good crossfire. I mean, one really playing anti-flash, one playing first contact. Of course, that cage does stop things, but Alexis not exactly gonna get pinged, but gonna get stopped. This is beautiful from Cat, but Valen, a little bit of a pre-fire, and I don't even know if he was blind or not, but still ended up getting the kill. Kitty has the knives out, but can't really do anything with it. C9 Whites on a little bit of an eco. They played almost literally the same setup that they were playing on the rifle round. So don't really know if that would be effective. Again, just sticking to your guns, really not missing out on what works in a sense. Not exactly a bad idea, but could have been a little bit more effective. Good stuff from Mel though. The double flash runs out of bullets on the Stinger. Valen will be able to get the kill anyways. But even then, I mean, Balanced, they just kind of drive their way through A main. Really good idea by Cat though.
Yeah, it's a huge risk. I think mainly overall the biggest mistake from at least Cloud9 White is that they're kind of playing really split towards this A side. Cat playing a kind of solo on Guardian when Mel is as well holding that same angle. I don't know. I think the A site setup needs to change just a little bit. It does look like they've opted to switch things up a tad bit. So Cloud9 White's changes will be made. Now, again, I think this is something that we didn't get enough time to talk over, is that they're actually running double initiator, right? They've got a Sova, I think, for Annie, and then Mel on the Sky. This is not necessarily the worst pick in my opinion, but obviously something that definitely is going to affect their game plan. I think it's definitely causing them to be a little bit more aggressive because they have that utility to back up their teammates. And as you see, Annie goes for an early peek, able to find Valen, puts it now in a 5v4. Now, how is the rest of the round going to go for Balance Esports? I think at this point in time, they're going to try and reset and try and see if they can capitalize on any aggression that Cloud9 White have been throwing at them early on.
And it's getting dissipated, right?
Oh.
That Ultra just walking right on by. No issues. Still gets the frag anyways. Player sitting up in the corner. Oh, man. A little bit more of a humorous interaction, but it's really just Balance being super disjointed in this round, Sully.
Yeah, I don't know what to really say at this point. I mean, I don't know how you get caught on a mid like that by KD's op just so freely. At this point, it's all a matter of taking these players down one by one. Dude, last minute alive.
Change of tempo.
1 versus 5, yeah, huge change in tempo. I mean, Cloud9 White, they were getting very aggressive. I think at this point, it's kind of like pick your poison. When do we want to get aggressive? When do we want to just sit back and wait for them to walk into our crosshairs? Katie doing a phenomenal job, able to pick up 2 frags. She's the player that you highlighted as well, and just early on, she's doing a phenomenal job. 8 and 3 just to kick it off in 6 rounds.
Yeah, no, she exploded with 5 frags within the first 3, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, Katie, just a really good individual fragger. Actually gets herself the up in her hands with the most optimal agent to use with that operator. I mean, it's almost expected that she would have a fun time, but folks, of course, balanced. They still do have most of their rifles on back. Denya, they're not.
Get out of my way.
Oh, there you go. I am back. But of course, I was going to mention no rifle for Denya, but of course she has the knives ready and raring to go into this round. C9 White with a fast rotation. Katie trying to wait up over towards mid, but Balance, they're starting to pinch down on B.
Oh, Katie, is she actually going to pressure through this smoke? I think Katie's made a little bit of a couple of careless errors pushing through smokes and stuff like that. So Katie, she doesn't actually invest herself. She decides to wait. The players in the backside of B, though, they stand no chance with Denya flinging knives left, right, and center. It's now down to just 3, but Katie's picked up a really big frag there. The Seeker can continue on going. This is going to draw a lot of fire away from at least Balance if they're able to pounce on it here, Cloud9 White. But as the neural theft goes in, positions revealed, now they've got to try and play around this. Mel's only got 1 blinding light left over. This gets really, really tricky.
There you go. They coordinated, but with only 1 remaining, they had to go for it. Massive for Bossy. Still Denya picking up that first frag. And now Mel with a real tall task, to say the least. Even gonna get dinged through the wall. Are you kidding me? Oh, no. Oh, no, Mel. Such a difficult position. Best thing that Mel could have done there is just a couple of exits, and that's exactly what she was trying to go for. But instead, it is going to be balanced with that 4th round. Again, it almost seems like we're kind of flipping the coin on how these rounds are really going. Either they're overwhelmingly over for C9, either they're overwhelming for Balanced. It's a little bit weird to actually think about in terms of a dynamic, but it really seems like Balanced, they've actually have a little bit more control now. I don't think C9 White actually have their full util setup going into this round, and not only that, but they are going for a different CT setup.
Yeah, Alexis, I think they're really interested in getting Alexis her final ult orb to get the lockdown so they can play retake on the B bomb side if they want to. But I think if Balance are smart enough to realize, which I think they actually are recognizing at the moment, is that they know where Alexis plays. They know that she's probably going to try and get the ult orb, but they realize where the investment is going to be and where that control is going to come from. Beautiful shot onto Katie to take her down. Balanced Esports suddenly now in a 5 versus 4. And with this player lurking, Cloud9 White, the information is definitely going to be a little bit limited. But they've invested 4 players here. Keep in mind, while they are at a man disadvantage, or sorry to say, a woman disadvantage, they've got ults. They have a Hunter Siri to boot as well. This could be big if we're at least denying the spike plan going forward.
A madam disadvantage, all that. All of the above. C9 White now. If I'm not mistaken, there was actually 2 female teams going into this tournament. Dignitas female was in the losers bracket, and now Balanced trying to make their way through. At least this game is looking a little bit more shaky for C9 Whites. They don't exactly have more opportunities to make their way back on site. It's really just going to have to be Alexis to try to make some space, and indeed she is. Denya now. Denya gets the first pick, pulls out the ghost, and takes down Annie Dro. Just kind of continuing my last point again, it's almost pretty stellar now that we actually are getting more female teams in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think Riot has done a really good job of incorporating female esports, and I mean, we've seen already that Cloud9 White, they're definitely I'd say now a very big contender for at least the tier 2 scene, and I mean, they're putting up decent results here and there, and now I think is a time where again we see kind of, I think I mentioned earlier, kind of their best performance or the best iteration we've seen so far. It's only going to continue to grow, I imagine. Annie, a huge shock dart, but a Hunter's Fury to try and help him out. Now, here's one big thing. This Hunter's Fury has been used so early. It actually catches 2 players, one of them being his teammate, so that's a little bit awkward. But the thing is that they draw out the Hunter's Fury, and now they can use this lockdown with no consequences of, or at least no worries of a Hunter's Fury taking it down. So that's another big thing, at least in this round for Cloud9 White. Yuta's going to try and play this lurk. They're going to try and find frags elsewhere as Cloud9 White. They're going to try and get aggressive. Understandable at this point, but I think Balanced Esports, they balance things out and they play nice and calm moving forward.
Ooh, food. Takes on at least a little bit more aggression.
Oh,
Spots one, Denya. Essentially a dry peek onto Mel. Yeah, I actually hate to see it. Valen now takes out Katie. One less person remaining in a 1v4. It is going to be Alexis. With that gate going down, it's going to be significantly harder for her to try to make her way through. But oh my god.
1 HP.
1 HP, but sharp on the ghost. Up close, it is going to be Valen, of course, with 1 HP. Can't really do much, but yeah, just decent positioning from Valen in the first place. Low HP, though, that Stinger could have ended up catching him off, but just like that, it is going to be C9 Whites. Dropping that round, though, it was an eco. Fairly effective, but they do have the rifles back.
Nice solid round for Cloud9 Whites. Early setup from Alexis. Playing more or less passive towards this garden area with the alarm bot on the nanostorm. Katie, early mid peak, could actually get something, but I think Bossy will be looking to toss a Leon out, so there should be no chance she can get this frag. And again, I say that, and she probably is going to end up getting a frag here. Smoke down, could she get the timing right? No, decides to back away. I think this is a smart call, because for now, you don't exactly know where the top is going to be, right? No peeks towards a main side, so Katie holds back on the trigger, still kind of playing into the mind of Balance Esports, like where is she going to be playing at? Where do we need to be watchful for? So Balance Esports, a much more passive approach, but a big nanostorm goes in, popping off in guard, and that paranoia as well, forcing them back, but Alexis holds the line. 4 versus 5, but I think at this point, Cloud9 White, they can see the entirety of A, and Balance Esports, they've got the site on lockdown for now at least.
Locks it down, but now Katie gets the first frag with Mel watching over the bounce. Bossy goes down, Alexis watches over Valen, and this is yet another dominant round from C9 Whites. I mean, just no contest. Balance makes their way through towards that A site. Their post plants are a little bit iffy in terms of positioning, but it's very fundamental in a sense. They wanted to take early cat control, trying to make their way up into garden, but it simply just wasn't enough. C9 Whites now with a 4th round, just trying to push Balance up against the ropes. They still have enough credits to really buy out for the next 2 rounds, which just so happens to coincide with the end of the half. So C9 White, they really have to battle for this tie.
I think one key component has been Katie's op presence. She's been phenomenal so far. I mean, Denya as well. Both the Jet operators having one heck of a game so far. And like you said, they need this round to at least tie things up. I mean, you're on the defensive side of it. I don't think many people are going to argue that this is definitely a little more favored to the defense. So Cloud9 White, the scoreline, it's not going to be too bad if you end up dropping 7-5 or 8-4. I think that's the worst case scenario, but if they get to 6-6, it does become a little bit more realistic that they can still close it out on the attack. At this point in time, still that lockdown. Seekers are available. Bladestorm ready as well for Katie. So this retake, it can be fast and furious. The lockdown should come up huge. They've isolated the player towards the cat side. They know there's going to be a huge investment here. But these two players, Boston needs to swing, but already full blinded by his own teammate. A huge shock dart to remove the lockdown. This is huge already for Balanced Esports.
Deep flash, but again, it's triple cat presence. Boot is there for the insurance. Last person remaining is going to be Katie now in a 1v4, but Valen from behind is going to be able to get the frag. Again, C9 Whites. Last round they went for a full gamble over towards Garden. They went for what would be the more expected take of just putting down a lockdown on that left side of the Garden side, of the courtyard side, and just couldn't get anything done. Don't clear out cat. They don't have anyone really clearing up space. I mean, you don't exactly want to. I mean, that lockdown is supposed to be very passive control, but even then, C9 White, they weren't really able to kind of take the steps, in a sense, to really restrict the damage on that round. So instead, now it is going to be balanced with not only a whole lot of momentum, but, I mean, honestly, just a huge economic advantage. If I'm not mistaken, some players on C9 White are still sticking on to very limited util, but do still have a couple of ultis that might be able to help them out going into this last round of the half.
Yeah, fast play here from Balance Esports. The alarm bot reveals, but they play around these smokes. That's only going to last about 2 more seconds, so they really need to get a move on. And yup, as soon as that smoke goes down, and he's able to find the frag, Denya able to pick up another, but it's Alexis in the back site holding things down as the killjoy. Can she stay alive? No. 2 versus 2. Denya holding a very, very late lurk can be big. Katie, I think, knows exactly where Denya's going to be, and he's Jets. Both knives are out. Hunter starting to boot as well on the backside, but Katie drops a smoke. That's not going to buy her a lot of time in the 1v2 clutch. Now she's dropped to the low ground. Vandal in her hand, dashing on through. That needed to be a kill, but Simple closes it out for Balance Esports. 8-4, a pretty dominant lead heading on to now the defensive side.
And again, quick reminder, folks, best of one. I mean, this bracket has been so brutal. To even make your way out of the group stage, you had to get first place out of 4.
Yep.
I mean, there were so many teams getting upset in that group stage, but that's purely because they take 1 L and that's it. Lots of teams that have won VCSs, that have gotten top 3, anything of the sort. Lots of teams with a whole lot of potential going into this overall tournament. And again, it's as cutthroat as you can get. It's the pinnacle of the definition of a gauntlet. And now C9 White, they really have to prove themselves worthy of making their way through this bracket. Because, folks, this is still the first round of playoffs. There's still a whole lot of Valorant to be played. And really, both of these teams are looking for a stellar performance this weekend. They got to keep fighting. And Denya starts it off right with a wide peek and a frag.
Yeah, nice early peek down towards mid. Kind of to at least get a little bit of early control. Valen will drop a smoke to at least make sure that players walking through that smoke are going to be coming in completely blind. But smokes do end up fading. And mid control will definitely start to relinquish itself on the side of Balance Esports. Now, that's the moment for Cloud9 White to try and retake it. Obviously, Alexis grouped up in the back of B main, but Valent, that's a huge frag. They know where the spike is now. Look at these rotations. Very, very early. Denya, so good on the ghost, but so is Katie. She can't invest her life here. Alexis, a huge kill towards B. It's split now these defenders between 2 different positions, and Katie's capitalized. This is a huge comeback for Cloud9 White already.
Massive stuff, because now Balanced, they get put in their place. This is a situation where C9 White, that C9 White had to go through so many times. But Katie, this is such a difficult position. Both angles she has to be looking over towards. Nice flick, able to get the first. Still now Denya has to pop here. Just needs a body shot. Katie, so elusive, so evasive. Able to get the last 2 in what would be such an unorthodox position to actually watch over. I mean, you hear advice from the pros. When you want to watch an angle, I mean, you want to restrict as many points of contact as possible. You only really want to watch over 1. But Katie, she doesn't care. Watches over both with ease, Sully. So now that's a 5th round for C9 White. In balance, it doesn't look like they're going for the force.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 White, that's a perfect round to get back into it. For a second, it looked like Balance had really good control, but with Alexis finding that frag, I feel like that's what really swung the round, because the next thing you know, Valen can't commit himself fully to mid. The B site is severely weakened, and Katie, she picks her poison. She knows when to take her fights, and she took it perfectly. Takes down 2 key players on that B site, and overwhelms the B bomb site. So now Balance Esports, Gus, at least this point in time, it's all about minimizing or maximizing the damage they can output here. Katie, not able to find the frag into Bossy. 5 players actually stacked up, 4 close to A main. And as far as they're concerned, at least for Cloud9 White, it's only Bossy taking the fight. And Bossy, so quick on the Sheriff, overhealed now. Now here comes the double swing. And Bossy's got a second frag. That's a big trailblazer, though, as it does stun them. But for now, Cloud9 White, they're going to be reeling back after those 2 losses.
Oh, Lord, Balanced. One person on the front lines over in A main with a couple of players in the back lines. That's wonderful, but all this B main control, but they're still watching over towards the cross. It essentially has to be Cat to really clear up this space. And indeed she is. As the valuable payload of the spike makes its way through B main.
30 seconds left.
And now Balance they still have the 2 SMGs drop from A main, but they still have to fight a whole lot more. Denya, with the power of the right clicks, has to make his way through Cats, but simply not gonna happen. Simple does catch Cats. A little bit unfortunate, but that's all the control being made with not enough attention being made over towards that one area. But now watch out, C9 White, they have Spike down, and it's been completely, I mean, Sight has been completely abandoned. Simple just has the cross. That's an easy 2K. What on earth was that strat? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it could have worked, but that one smoke just shuts it all down. It's an interesting idea, but to really put your entire team's hope on a retake, a re-retake in a sense, that's tough.
I don't think there's really much. Yeah, I mean, it is tough. I don't think there's much to say. Cloud9 White, the spike wasn't even necessarily planted in, I'd say, the right positioning for a situation like that. And the smoke from Valen basically won them that round. You're 100% right, Gus. I don't know how much we can really speak of that round. It's in the past, I guess.
It's a head
Cloud9 White,
scratcher.
right? Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, it kind of worked. It half worked. Also, not really. But at least in this one, Cloud9 White, they do at least have a decent enough credits to at least half buy here, right? They've gone for Stingers. Katie's gone for the Sheriff. She'll be looking to get her ult orb or her ult up as soon as possible. The hold here from Balance, very passive towards the B side. They've invested all 5 players here now, and it's Cloud9 White that are going all into this one. Denya and Valen in the back, they're just charging on it into their deaths at this point, Cloud9 White, and there's nothing you can really do. Against 5 now and to try and clutch, but it wasn't meant to be. 10-5 Balance Esports, an easy round to get onto double digits.
Yeah, that's light work. Balance just barrel their way through sights. It's just an eco. Not much to really talk about. This next one, of course, is a whole lot more important. Alexis, if I'm not mistaken, she was one of the ones that ended up buying an SMG into the last round, so she had to make a pretty tough decision. In terms of cash, had to go light armor this round instead. Still has a rifle in her hands. Look at the early setup for C9 Whites. There's actually going to be 2 with B main attention in a sense. But it's not going to be all that much. Good alarm bot being pulled up by Alexis, but it might have actually been spotted. Indeed it was. So this time, Balance with full mid control. They just waltzed their way through essentially. Alexis already called off by the util. And that's going to be an early easy frag for Balanced. C9 White, they're still stuck behind choke points in a sense. They haven't really made any moves, but the spike is still down lower mid. That's so unfortunate in a sense. C9 White, they essentially have to waste a little bit more time in just trying to get control of mid and just trying to get that spike back.
Yeah, deep cam as well from Balanced Esports is going to reveal a lot as to what's going on for Cloud9 White. And that's why you see heavy investments to the mid side and the A side as well. I'm surprised Bossy hasn't gone for any control. I mean, there's such an investment here from Cloud9 White down towards mid that maybe you want a little more extra control. They're playing a crosshair on that A site. And yeah, Cloud9 White, they seem a little bit scattered at the moment. Doesn't seem like much is coming together. They do smoke off the bottom of Arch. That'll allow them to cross back. A bird to at least try and draw them away. But Denya's not phased whatsoever. They still have 2 players. Now even a third coming in as Simple makes the early contact. That'll alert Bossy. And oh, Katie nearly gets taken down because she wasn't ready for it. And quick on the frag takes him down. But now it's down to the last 10 seconds. And Denya, this spray is so deadly. Simple as well coming up. Huge. Valen now the remaining player here. Can't deny the spike plan. And it's Mel on such low HP, stands no chance behind the generator. An 11th round for Balance Esports as Cloud9 White again. They seem a little bit lost in these mid rounds. Balance able to capitalize on that uncoordination, and they take advantage of it fully. 11th on the board, but Cloud9 White still a little bit more time to work with to try and pull off the comeback.
A little bit. I mean, I think that might be an exaggeration. a slim amount of time, to say the least. C9 running out of space, running out of time, especially off that take. I mean, they had wasted so much time off the split that they ended up pulling at the very beginning of the round. So to that extent, it ended up going really balanced, just maintaining their initial positions at the very beginning of the rounds. I think it was Simple that really had full control of cat side, really just purely off of util. C9 White ended up getting close though, but really no time and really no opportunities to actually get those initial frags out. Folks, this is a best of 1. Balanced is only 2 rounds away to making their way through into, if I'm not mistaken, the round of 16. It's a long day of Valorant. We're going right through the qualifiers. Of course, the main bracket.
Aww.
Starting, oh man.
I've always wondered.
I can't
I've always wondered
continue
one
to talk
thing
seriously.
is that this serpent, this viper, how the heck is he holding a cane?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I don't know.
He's very handsome though.
Yeah, he's got a nice top hat. I mean, I was
Oh,
gonna
look at this
draw.
guy.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Like he's got a nice
Oh.
big smile, but I don't want to take anything away. But like, how the heck is he holding a cane? I don't think his arms.
I mean, it keeps you. I mean, it keeps you entertained, right? It keeps you company because I mean,
The cane.
you can't really. Yeah, no. I mean, he needs something, right? What if the Viper wants to? What if the Snake wants to dance? You know?
True.
Right? So he has the cane on him. I mean, there's so many things for a player even to just keep them entertained over towards this White House area, Winehouse area.
What is this?
I mean,
he's holding an M9 bayonet. He's got buck teeth.
an M9 bayonet.
I mean, that is right. I mean, he's got.
Yeah,
this guy
I mean,
looks
it
like
is.
he just came back from war. He's got the red bandana on and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's still.
Look at the way he's holding it. It's like he's brandishing it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's brandishing it with like the sharp side pointing into his hand. So that's concerning for this guy.
I mean,
That
it's a
kind of
stuffed
sounds-
animal. You don't exactly
Yeah.
need to worry about it.
True. True.
All right, that's our analysis done, by the way.
Yeah.
For this round, though, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be all too important. Just kidding, folks. Of course, it still is very important for C9 White. They put a whole lot of economy over towards this round, and all balanced. Still very much with a balanced setup. Still 2 players over towards that B setup, but they were playing a whole lot more site control in a sense. Double market at this point. They might be trying to go for a little bit of a retake, and looking at their ulti setup, they can afford to do so.
Cloud9 White with that retake back towards B main. Surprised they don't continue to invest, but a Skybird, or at least the blinding light to force Valen at the moment to back away Bossy. This is a huge gamble. No info down towards mid, a smoke in his face. They do have a crossfire, but the Seekers come in clutch.
Ooh.
Katie clears out the corner, but Simple. With a name like that, we said he had to go big, and
Jeez.
he's got 3. Just like that, the round should be shut down, but there is a lockdown to play back on. Again, though, this Hunter Series, you mentioned, they can play retake towards B, and with the Hunter Series, they can take down the lockdown, but they don't even
30
need to
seconds
invest
left.
that. They'll hold on to it for the next, and at this point, it should be 12 for Balance Esports, and Balance puts the nail in the coffin, 12-5. No chance in that round as Simple pops off.
I mean, who actually got number 2 in the world yesterday? Simple or Simple? Man, what a play over towards mid. Still holds it down. The Cabbages, the Seekers. They go absolutely nuts in that mid area. I mean, I thought they had it just off of that initial frag from Katie, but of course they were playing the hard crossfire, and I mean, we were trying to hype up that setup from the very beginning of things, purely because Balance, they ended up having not only 2 players over towards that position, but still one in a fast rotation back towards that back heaven area and over towards spawn. They had a whole lot of support, they had a whole lot of control. C9 White, they haven't really gone for mid control too many times, but the times that they have done so, it's really just been uncontested. That's a return to form for Balance, and really just trying to lay the grounds on what C9 White can really do on this map, aka they can't do anything. This is an amazing time now for Balance, but they still have a whole lot of early control. You have 2 players over towards the cat area, nothing over towards B main just yet. C9 White, they're still playing over towards those choke points for now. Not a lot of util to really make their way through. Still a couple of pieces of util and really just ultis to try to work with. And there
there's
goes
that
already the
Hunter Series.
lockdown down in A main, but it doesn't matter. Bossy and Valen holding down cat, still 1 in the heaven area. It's gonna be Denya. Valen gets another kill. C9 White, it's a flawless round against them, and they're going to get eliminated from the qualifier.